All right, so I'm here to talk about that God-forsaken person that won't die because he shouldn't, because there's too many questions. Okay, my bangs are acting up. They're gone. So, Jeffrey Epstein. I have not been able to, compartmentalize and move on from this whole thing. I mean, it is still really fresh, let's be honest. This whole thing has been going on for only less than a week, really, but this whole thing started 20 years ago, probably started in the 80s. So why is it so important? Why shouldn't people stop talking about it? So, of course, all the DOJ, DOD, if you don't know who that is, Department of Defense, Department of Justice, they do not want to release information. Okay, why? Let's ask why. Let's say, why will you not release the information you have? So here's the reason they have given for not releasing these files, okay? And if you don't know what the files are, let's say you for some reason have been under a rock, or maybe you're just a good person to your mental health and have stayed far away from the news. I don't know, but I'm gonna educate you real quick. So you want to know why is it important? Why isn't anyone answering questions? Why is there so much media about it? Okay, well, let's go into the history of it real quick, okay? Because, correct me if I'm wrong. If I get any facts wrong, more than free to correct me. More than free. If anything, please do correct me so I get information more correct in the future. So, very quick summary of the story. Jeffrey Epstein was born, okay, and was a regular dude for as much as we know. We don't really know that much about his intentions, which is where we're getting to. He didn't have a college degree when he went to school. He went to college, he dropped out, he didn't get a degree. Still somehow found a job at a school. So he became a teacher for, I believe, math or physics. Please correct me if it's one or either or both. But he became a teacher. So if any of you are teachers out there, you know how much education you need to be a teacher now. Well, kinda. It used to be, I'm gonna correct myself, the Department of Education is no longer a thing. It's been dissolved by the Trump administration. So teaching's a little bit different, but I went to school to be a teacher. So I had to do intern hours. I had to do shadowing. I had to do so many classes. I get 64 credits in specifically child development, education, the field I'm teaching, blah, blah, blah. So the fact that he just got into a school, started teaching without any proof, sus. I don't know how he did that, probably connections. A lot of schools nowadays are hiring because they're so desperate that most of the time you can go into teaching now without a fucking teaching certification. You can go in with just a sub certification, or if it's private, all you have to have is proof that you know the area that you're teaching. So it's different now. Again, everything's changing. It's crazy world. So he became a teacher. Somewhere along the way, became a financial advisor for a bunch of really powerful people. Now, let me just think about this logically, okay? Let's just think about this, no idea what he's gonna do, okay? Let's say you have no idea what he's done, and I'm gonna tell you, but let's just pretend he's just a regular dude right now. He was teaching and somehow acquired the skills to give millionaires and wealthy people advice on financial advice. And if you don't know, the people that were paying him were paying more than you normally pay your attorneys, okay? So why? What advice was he giving that was so shit for, oh my God, I gotta give this guy all my money? I don't know. We don't know. But along the way, he gets more and more popular. He gets higher and higher up on, the hierarchy of elites. And he's starting to buy cars. He's starting to get money. He buys a fucking island. He bought an island. He got so rich, he had his own island. So the man was wealthy. very wealthy. Like, he was rolling in dough, had private jets where Bill Gates, Trump, a bunch of people have been in the flight logs. We know how many people he knew. There are photos of him with princes, with senators, with people from other foreign governments. There are a lot of people pictured with Jeffrey Epstein, either on his island, on his jets, many one of them, at dinners, at parties, at get-togethers, you name it. It's been a long time. Again, he's been doing this a while. Flash forward to 2007. Hold on. I want to get my facts straight, so we're going to pull up the iPad, okay? Hold on. Flash forward. The man has been doing good. The man has been a myth legend himself. He has acquired all the worth and wealth in the world. So what happened to him? You know, how did we get here? Let's get to the first major occurrence, okay? Let's get to, that's what I want. Okay. So, flash forward in 2007, 2008, this is when all allegations start falling out. Epstein, in Florida, was accused of sexually abusing underage girls. Says it right there. Okay, so that's the 2008 allegation. He was sexually abusing girls. I will have to take that out. So, what were the negotiations? I'm doing a bullet point. Okay, so his allegations were there were women coming forward, and pretty much children at this point, they were so young, coming forward and saying, this man... Okay, we're gonna put this down. So, let's explain a little backstory behind the allegations first. So, 2008, he gets these allegations, right? Legal case. So, his girlfriend... Fuck. I'm sorry. We need names. We need names. Not of the victims. I won't share victim names, but perpetrators, absolutely, I will put those names out there. Okay, so this is her. So at the time, this was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend at the time, right? Maxwell. She is currently serving at... Oh my God. So she has 20 years in federal prison on the conviction of sex trafficking of a minor, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal activity and conspiracy. And she is currently, let's see. She's in New York City. She was sentenced 2022 in New York City to 20 years imprisonment. Wow. Denied bail as a flight risk, with the judge expressing concerns regarding her completely opaque finances, her skill at living in hiding, and the fact that France does not extradite its citizens, so she's a French citizen. She was convicted of 5 out of 6 counts, including one of sex trafficking. YouTube, you're gonna whatever. Don't pay me, I don't care. In December of 2021, she was tried. She faces a second criminal trial for 2 charges. Yeah. So his girlfriend essentially was in charge of recruiting young girls for Epstein's island for pleasure. She would hire these girls under the guise of work, like massaging, chores, whatever. And they were getting paid good. So they're like, that's a good gig. All I have to do is show up at this island and do that job. Light work. Free college. Unfortunately for them, Maxwell, the girlfriend, and Epstein had other things planned. So they brought the girls over to the island, Epstein's fucking fabled island, and they would do X acts or force them, and then they'd hand the money and be like, shut up and go away. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where it starts. Anyway, so that's the girl that was bringing Epstein and his buddies that we don't know the names of. Also, were enjoying themselves. Okay? Oh, jeez. Okay, so 2008, that's what was going on. The sentence was, so this is what was decided. Epstein did plead guilty to one count of soliciting prostitution, obviously, and one count of soliciting prostitution from a minor. The sentence was longer, so he's sentenced to 18 months in jail. That's not enough for me, honestly. Look, anytime there's sexual predators, I don't want them to only get 18 months. I think they deserve multiple years. I think for every year that child was underage, that's the year you should add on to their sentence. Because you took a year of their childhood. You should add those years to the person that took that year from them. I'm just saying. So the sentence was 18 months. He only served 13 because he did a work release program. The man had 1 year to think about it and be like, okay guys, I got caught doing these shady things. Maybe I should stop. I won't have to do this again. You would think that's like a logical answer. And nah. When you have money and power, going to jail is just like a little tick on your record. That's nothing. And it doesn't even matter what you went to prison or jail for. We see it all the time. Look at the Diddy case. Look at the Diddy case. So of course Epstein was like, nothing. So let's flash forward to 2019, okay, shall we? This was 2008. Let's go to the big case. 2019, let's get it. All right, so summarize. Let's go to the DOJ website. Actually, no, let's not do that. I don't trust them. I'm sorry, I don't trust them right now. I really don't. But you know what? Let's get the generals of the case. Okay, so September. Let's go all the way back to July 8th, 2019. First of all, what's going on in 2019? Let's just find out real quick. Before we get too crazy about what he did, let's find out what was going on in the world at 2019 just so we can get an understanding of how crazy it was, okay? What happened in 2019? What was going on in 2019 in the United States? Okay, let's just look. Guys, I'm only 25. This has been my whole life. I've only seen this stuff. This is all I know. Okay, in 2019, let's see, experienced a mix of significant events, it says. The impeachment of U.S. President Donald Trump. The Notre Dame fire. Tragic. I love how I said tragic that the Notre Dame caught on fire, but our president was impeached. Priorities. There was a first image of a black hole that year, cool. And ongoing Hong Kong protests, okay? There was the El Paso Walmart shooting, 2019 China-US trade war, beginning of COVID. The beginning of COVID! Damn. Yeah, Brexit, Venezuela crisis. So there was a lot of things going on, you guys. 2019, COVID was kicking off. Like, that is insane. So, let's get into it. So, what happened 2019 with Epstein? Okay, so July 8th, let's go back. The United States Attorney Office announced the unsealing of federal felony charges against Jeffrey Epstein on charges of sex trafficking of minors, conspiring to commit sex trafficking of minors. Epstein is accused of committing these crimes in locations including, but not limited to, New York, and Palm Beach, Florida. If you believe you're the victim, blah, 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 please call this number. Yeah, whatever. So, let's update July 9th. An initial presentment and arraignment was held in the case of United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. The defendant consented to detention pending a subsequent bail hearing. The next conference, which will include a bail hearing, is scheduled for Monday, July 15, 2019 at 10 a.m. before the Honorable Richard M. Berman, United States District Judge for the Southern District of New York. Yeah. So, flash forward a little bit more. Oops, don't know what that is. Get out of here. So, July 16th, flash forward a couple days. The continuation of bail hearing, okay? The reserved decision, defendant currently remains detained. Okay, so July 16th, July 19th. Status conference was held. The court announced its ruling that the defendant will be incarcerated pending trial. August 21st. Hearing was ordered by the court in case of United States versus Jeffrey Epstein. The hearing is in connection with the Noel Presque order proposed to the court on August 19th by a United States attorney following the death of defendant Jeffrey Epstein. He died on the 19th. So you guys hear that? From between July 19th sentence hearing and August 21st, the 19th is when he died. On August 19th. He offed himself. He unalived himself. Okay. August 24th, the location of the scheduled hearing for August 27th was changed. It will be now taking place in New York, courtroom 110. So let's see. The hearing was in connection, blah, 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 following the death, blah, 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 at the hearing, blah, 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 victims, family and victims made statements to the court. They reserved decision for later date. September 4th, the hearing was held in this case. The hearing was in connection. Okay. So following the death of Jeffrey Epstein on August 29th, the court entered an order of Noel Presque formally dismissing the case. However, the investigation into the conduct of Jeffrey Epstein continues. Do you hear that? However, the investigation to the conduct of Jeffrey Epstein continues. On August 29, 2019, the court entered an order of excuse me, I'm not a law profession. Nolle, please pronounce it for me. Noel Prosecute. Noel Prosecute, that sounds right. Prosecute, that makes sense. They dismissed the case. They dismissed the case. They said, oh, he dead, so no one to convict. There are still victims. There are still people that are getting away with it in connection. And they dismissed it. So they already were in 2019 like, you're just going to dismiss it? Here's what the problem is. So they dismissed it in Trump. Trump ran with his party on the essence of, we would release the files. We're not like Biden. We would release the files. Because Biden had 4 years. President Joe Biden of the United States had 4 years. With this information, with the Epstein files. So the Epstein files are not actual. We don't actually know what's in them. They're called the files because they could be CDs, videos, audios, documents, names. You think of it, it could be there. Of connections all across the world to people who are in his predator ring. So why are they not releasing it? Why did Joe Biden not release it? So there's only a couple reasons why Joe Biden wouldn't release any information, even though people that were directly working on the case when it was happening have stated there was evidence, that there was names, that there are videos, that there is evidence that connects to other perpetrators. Why is it now Joe Biden hasn't released anything and Trump won't? I can tell you my theory, and it's a pretty good one. A one that a lot of people have come to, because it's everywhere. There's only a couple reasons why. Why would opposing parties in the government both not release incriminating information on each other. Oh, maybe because there's incriminating information for both parties in there. Think about it logically. Think about it this way. The simplest answer is normally the truth. The simplest answer is normally the truth. Why won't Biden or Trump release anything? Because there's something about both parties or both people in it. Or they know people in it. Why all of a sudden is everyone in the government trying to shush this? Why? They want to push it as, we still talking about this guy? Hey, he's been unalived for years. Why are we still talking about this predator? Because justice has not been served. The case was dismissed. It's on the DOJ website. It was dismissed. And then when we finally stand up and say, hey, we want the evidence, we don't care what's in it, we want some kind of justice, they want to say we're crazy. Y'all were the ones perpetrating. You had the information, and now you're saying, you want to know what Trump said? You can quote me on this. Go ahead and look it up right now. He was interviewed outside at some point, and I watched the entire interview, so there's no editing in it. This is what he said. I like to be in the middle, guys. I don't like to be, like, I'm showing my support for America because I'm standing here saying this for America. I don't care who the president is right now. Okay? I will support the president because they're the president of the United States. However, I do not agree with anyone who's covering up clear, horrible stuff. I'm not a personal fan of some personality traits of the president right now. Trump, a lot of people aren't. That's not why they voted for him. But I definitely knew when he became president that he would be covering stuff up for his buddies. Come on, we know this. He did it last time. We know this. We just hoped that he wouldn't cover up things that matter to us. And now he is. So he's just as bad as all of them now again. So the problem is, they keep going back and forth on their word. They say they have things that prove things. Now they're saying they don't have anything, it's a hoax. Then they say that they do have things, but they don't want to harm victims. But now they're saying that it was all by the Democratic Party and it's a hoax. So which one is it? You can't have both. You cannot point fingers at people knowing you're lying. Knowing you're pointing fingers at the wrong people, you are being a bad person. I'm sorry, let's use the vocabulary of a daycare. You're being a caca head. I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. Why are you doing this? Why? Oh my Lanta. And then it's like, well, this could change the whole world if this list gets out. It's blackmail. If you release the blackmail, it no longer can hurt you. Anyway, that's my opinion on this whole thing. It's a cover-up. Call me a conspiracist. I've been right about everything so far. So if you want to call me a conspiracist, government, or anyone that still wants to listen to how much they're trying to lie to you, I'm so sorry that I have to tell you they're lying to you. But I drew this. So I drew this yesterday at a coffee shop. And it's pretty much how I feel about this whole Epstein situation. So it's a hyena face growling in the background. You can barely see it. But Epstein's face on top of it. And then it says, it's not a cover-up. It's not a cover-up. It's not a cover-up. And there's Lady Liberty crying. I'm sorry, y'all. I draw what I'm thinking about, and that's what I was thinking about. So here we are talking about it because the drawing didn't help enough. So if you guys are just as exhausted by the world as I am, I implore you to go outside, take a deep breath, and do something you like. Because it's gonna be bumpy from here out. We either are gonna get an answer now or in 50 years when everyone's not here anymore. You know what I mean? So either way, I don't think the public's just gonna like let it go. There's too much media around this. Everyone cares about it because we can all agree, left or right or whatever, that predators are gross and need to be stopped, and that children do not deserve this and no one deserves this. So we need to like serve justice. That is what the flag is supposed to be for. We're supposed to be freedom, justice, pursuit of happiness, all that shiz. But how can we say we propagate that when our government, the people in the top, do not? It don't look good for us. We want to be a country again. We want to be together. We want everyone to succeed. We want people to be happy. We want people to afford houses. We want people to be educated. We want people to be able to find jobs. We want people to retire. This is not it. So let's cut the crud, okay? Tell the truth. Tell the truth for the sake of the American people. Do it. Do it. We are ready for the truth. We know you're lying. Just come out with the truth. We will support you 110%. You hear me, government? We will support you 110% if you're willing to work with us and be honest. Anyway, that's a wrap. Hope everyone has a great day. Bye.